Hello everybody, this is Shockfactor 22, now with my NHL team review. Now, considering this new realignment that the NHL has gone through this year, as the movement of the Atlanta Thrashers back to Winnipeg to recreate the Winnipeg Jets, which basically considered all of the Thrashers roster, the NHL had to throw a couple teams around. These movements, for example, we now have 4 divisions in the NHL, and there are now 8-8 in the East and 7-7 in the West. Ignore that little cattail. That's just a noise. But yeah, now that we have these 7 or 8 teams, or we still have 30 teams basically. But I'm still wondering if they are going to plan on moving 32, because from what I've been hearing, there's also thoughts of going to Kansas City and giving San Diego or San Fran a an NHL team, which I don't think California needs any more hockey teams, to be honest. I mean, why not put someone in Pittsburgh? Oh, I'm gonna avoid that subject. Now I'm probably not gonna upload 30 videos. Um, well, you know what? I might as well, because that's kind of one of the magics of me, is I tend to kind of half-ass things. Um, yeah, sorry, I'm a little bit itchy today. Um, but yeah, the first team in the Atlantic Division with a total game points of 43, 28 wins, 13 losses, 2 losses in overtime, 58. I guess that's points. I've never been one for much uh, accurate things with hockey. Last 10, 6 wins, 4 losses on a 1-game losing streak with a team. I kind of half-ass this stuff, guys. Hang on a sec. Load, you stupid thing. Technical difficulties, people. um, with a roster consisting of Matt Partowski, and I apologize if I blistered or completely F up these rosters. Patrice Bergeron, Johnny Boychuk, Gregory Campbell, Jordan Caron, Louis Erickson, Matt Frazier, Justin Florek, Doogie Hamilton, or Dougie Hamilton, I don't know, Jerome Iginla, Chad Johnson, an injured Chris Kelly, David Krejci, Torrey Krug, Milan Lucic, Brad Marchand, Adam McQuaid, Kevin Miller, Daniel Pele, Tuukka Rask, Mark Savard, Dennis Seidenberg, Riley Smith, Carl Soderberg, Ryan Spooner, Sean Thornton, and the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Zdeno Chara, aka the Boston Bruins. Now, I've personally never been a fan of the Bruins, mainly because of the stuff that happened between the Flyers and the Bruins these past couple of years. Uh, Firstly, that 4-win comeback for the Flyers in the playoffs to go to the Stanley Cup and then finally, sadly, lose. That was a bit heartbreaking, and then the next year to lose to the Bruins, and then to just kind of drop off the map. Um, I've never been a really big fan of Tuukka Rask, mainly because during his early days while playing with the AHL affiliate, the Providence Bruins, he seemed to have a really big anger management issue, especially at one point, literally tossing his stick and a milk crate across the ice. Um, talk about a way to vent frustration. But there are guys on the Bruins that are straight up talent. Guys like Zdeno Chara, who I believe he has 100-mile-per-hour slap shot. So that to me, I would not want to get in front of Zdeno Chara if he's pulling a slap shot because he could kill me with a placed puck between the eyes. Um, but I think this team has talent. I mean, hell, they're at the top of the Atlantic Division. Did I expect them to be up there? A little bit. I mean, they've always kind of had that upper echelon. I mean, when they were in their original division, they were always one or two in their division. Most of the time clenching, unless they played the Canadiens, which I will get onto on a later scale. But the Bruins. Where was I honestly expecting them? Well, considering that a team gets older every year, or players get older, I mean that you can't stop age. I was thinking guys like Savard, Chara, Marchand. I was thinking those guys would kind of be dropping off the map. I mean, looking at this list, you got Jerome Iginla, 36, Zdeno Chara, 36, Gregory Campbell, 30, Chris Kelly, 33, Mark Savard, 36, Dennis Seinberg, 32. You have a lot of aged guys on this team. And I mean, you have to think after a while your career's kind of winding down. You know, you kind of want to help the next generation of Bruins get ready, not just, hold your spot. I mean, Savard's a perfect example of a guy who, I mean, Savard's got talent. I'm not doubting it. I mean, if that was the case, they wouldn't have went to the Stanley Cup in 2011 and beat the Vancouver Canucks. Um, you wouldn't have seen the Bruins go because a lot of the guys on that team are raw talent. I mean, again, Chara, I think he's still the tallest guy in the game. I mean, he was about the same size as Lindros when Lindros was with the Flyers. Um, but yeah, this team, I can see a lot of young prospects wanting to go to Boston because within the span of a year, you got a lot of young prospects who are willing to come to Boston to play with the Bruins, just to play with Char, to play with Iginla, to play with Savard, to play with Thornton, because those guys, while getting older, are still a wise set of players. But again, you can't take away from these guys. You can't take away from guys who, while being old, are straight up talent. I mean, Jerome Iginla was one of the star names for the Calgary Flames. I still myself don't get why they chose to get rid of him because again, Jerome Iginla is talented and he is a good player. So I don't get why, you know, you would choose to get rid of him. Um, but yeah, anyway, do I expect them making the playoffs? Probably. Considering that their division was realigned, I wouldn't be surprised if they clinched their division again. I mean, the Bruins have always been one of those teams who is hard-hitting, very, very street fight kind of hockey, very aggressive, always moving up and down the ice, always putting pressure. I think that helps in the extent that, you know, and this is not just me being a Flyers fan, this is me being honest, is that if you're constantly putting pressure on the guys you're playing, the thing with Chara, he does not go down. I've barely seen the dude get hit and go down. Very, very rarely. I mean, if someone can get like a compilation video of every time he got checked and fell, you probably only get about probably 5 or 6 throughout his career. He's a big dude. He's a monster. He's 6'7", 6'9" with skates. I mean, how can you stop a guy like that? I mean, especially when you're playing that aggressive style hockey, you really can see the talent in a guy like Zdeno Chara because despite being a big guy, he is a good player for the Bruins. Um, let me really quickly discuss this stuff with the Penguins and the Bruins really quick. Um, I believe it was the Bruins. Um, Thornton got suspended. Well, was suspended for a fight with Orpik. Now, Sean Thornton never gets in fights often, and Orpik had sustained a concussion. Excuse me, I'm a little bit sick. He sustained a concussion during that game thanks to Thornton. Well, people were going, oh, well, that was a dirty move by Thornton. Well, think about it. If a guy takes out one of your team and there's no call, aren't you going to do something? Because I can honestly tell you my Flyers wouldn't have liked it if the refs didn't call it. But hell, if I was to give this team a rating, I would give it 4.5 stars. Mainly because they still can, they can still play, but the half star is taken off because they're not moving to the next group of rookies. If it's me, you're letting those guys wind down. You're taking those guys lower and lower off the chart. You don't need to take someone like Chara at the C away. He's a great player. But I think you need to start, moving the guys like Savard, like Thornton. You need to start moving them down the line chart so that they're not getting as much puck time. Because getting older, your reflexes aren't as good, your stamina is not as good. So the guys that are only going to be out there for 20, 30 seconds, like Thornton and Jerome McGinley and Krejci, guys like that need to start being filtered back and letting the younger guys who can be a future for the Bruins to let them get up front and ready to roll so that they can carry this franchise on to cups, because knowing Boston, they probably whine and cry. Boston, this is probably, don't take what I'm saying seriously. As a Flyers fan, I do respect the Bruins, but you guys tend to whine a little too much, considering that Boston itself has the Bruins, the Red Sox, and the Patriots. Yeah, I don't see how you guys can still be upset that you're not winning rings, okay? But yeah, the Bruins get a 4.5 star rating from me. Again, I like a lot of the guys there. I think everyone's there is very, very talented for their age. But I think you need to start bringing up guys from Providence who are prospects, who the head coach and the GM can look at and say, that's who I want as my captain in the future once Chara goes, or that's who I want as an assistant in case Chris Kelly or anyone else goes. You need replacements, and guys who are the same age are not going to win you championships. The guys that are old are not going to win you championships. Name one team that had old players win a Stanley Cup. I mean, I think the last one I can think of was probably the Flyers back in the 70s, because I think they were still in that. I think they were in that early 30, late 30 age when they won the cup. But yeah, guys, this has been my review of the Boston Bruins. Expect my next review to be the Tampa Bay Lightning. Oh, sorry, that was my utter boredom at the 131 line. So yeah, guys, I'll see you guys later. Peace.